Good morning at 6:30, and thanks for watching News 8 at sunrise. If you are hoping to get the next iPhone, well, you might want to start saving now. Technology buffs estimating the iPhone 8 may cost $1,200 or more. Stacey, I love your enthusiasm. Super Bowl or bust for the Bills.
Let's do it. Come on.
On this perfect Friday, why not be optimistic,
Exactly.
A Tom Petty reference is not lost on this man.
No.
Marcus Gruba.
Little Full Moon Fever right there.
Yeah, you know the album. See, same age. We know.
Little thing we like to call Social on 8 coming up next.
We are awaiting a verdict on the fourth and final defendant, Paul Tucci. But again, Laura and Colin Rideout guilty on all charges. Alex Rideout not guilty of murder, guilty of tampering with evidence. I am hearing now that Paul Tucci, the fourth defendant in this case, has been acquitted on all charges. We could see in the images someone with their hands up being taken into custody by Rochester police. It is presumed that is the person that was barricaded inside that home on Dewey Avenue. Good morning here on News 8 at sunrise. Just a couple of minutes ago, we saw Judge Letitia Stasio freed from jail. We'll head downtown to Waukesha Bailey in just a couple of minutes for an update on that. First, though, we've got to talk a little bit about this weather. The rain is not over yet. This is the last place Brittany Drexel was seen. Behind me is the Blue Water Resort. She left there just after 8 o'clock on the night of April 25th, 2009. She walked this way along Ocean Boulevard, going toward the Bar Harbor Resort where she was staying with friends. And that's when she vanished.
Well, Matt, I'm at the police department in Gates. This young man, Montre Bradley, shot and killed essentially over the roughly $250 he had saved up to buy a brand new pair of sneakers. Kevin, it's all preliminary at this point, but Rochester police indicate there was nothing suspicious at the scene. The call coming in just before 4 o'clock this afternoon. A Rochester man in his 50s, as you said, fishing with a friend when he fell into the canal and drowned.
Allison, it's been a terrific morning, as we mentioned earlier this half hour, already getting a bunch of donations. Kimberly and Beck from 95.1 have been with us all morning long. They're back with us once again. Kimberly, food, we talk about food for families. There's a huge need in our community, and we're really asking everybody to step up and help us today.
This is News 8 at noon in high definition.
Good afternoon. President Trump says he will ban transgender individuals from serving in any capacity in the U.S. Armed Forces. Trump's decision reverses a policy initially approved by the Pentagon under former President Barack Obama. The president made the announcement this morning via Twitter. Jordan, thank you for the live update. Rochester police investigating after a shooting on the city's north side. They say a 23-year-old man was shot in the upper body on Holzer Street right near North Clinton Avenue. 3 of the 4 defendants in the Craig Rideout murder trial are behind bars today. After 3 weeks of testimony and 26 hours of jury deliberation, the panel convicted Rideout's estranged wife, Laura, and his son, Colin, of murder. They face up to life in prison. Rideout's other son, Alex, was only convicted of tampering with evidence and faces up to 4 years. A 4th defendant, Paul Tucci, was acquitted of all the charges. Well, the new sea lion pup at the Seneca Park Zoo is in need of a name, and you could be the one to give it to him. Zoo officials announced a naming contest for the new pup this morning. A Western New York man is claiming to own a 500-year-old painting by one of the world's most famous artists. Don Kober says the painting is by Michelangelo and has hung in his family's home outside of Rochester for years. Well, a Geneseo grad has made it through another night on Jeopardy despite getting Final Jeopardy wrong last night. Take a look. He will defend his title once again tonight at 7:30 right here on News 8 and CBS. The News 8 summer tour continues today. This time we are heading to Orleans County with a stop in the village of Holly. John Kutchko will be there live showing that community and the great things it has to offer. The summer tour stopping in Holly from 5 to 6:30 today on News 8. Well, we saw a lot of clouds earlier this morning. The sun is trying to make its way out there and brighten things up.
The storm ripped through Seneca County around 1:30 this afternoon. Amazingly, no one was killed or injured, but the damage was extensive.
I'm really shocked that there are minimally some people injured the way that storm came through.
Seneca Falls took the brunt of the storm's damage. Trees knocked down numerous power lines, shutting off streetlights, service to residential homes, and closing off roads. All challenges for the first responders.
Just to get into the worst area was a problem because there was issues to be taken care of before they even got there.
Just a few miles away in Fayette, the roof on Carl Nolt's barn was blown clear off, landing some 75 yards away in a field.
We have to decide what we want to do, what's the next step to do. Tear the rest of the roof off, and put trusses up and put tin up. I don't know.
All along Route 96, tree branches were scattered. Len Hornung and his wife came home to find some of the heaviest damage in their backyard.
It really surprised us when we came up over the hills. And, oh my God, look at that.
The Hornungs' home, where they've lived for 44 years, was spared, and so were they.
I'll trade a downed tree for life anytime.
At the height of the storm, the county 911 center was flooded with calls, but sheriff's deputies only responded to 5 minor accidents. The Red Cross set up a relief center at Waterloo High School, but 2 hours after it opened, no one had come, a sign most were spared the storm's full fury.
We're just very fortunate it didn't involve serious personal injury. Very fortunate.
It's expected the National Weather Service will come to assess whether this damage was caused by a tornado or a microburst. We'll learn more about that in the morning. In Seneca Falls, Mark Gruba, News 8.
On November 10th, 2011, Marisa Boyatzis was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma.
I was just surprised by the whole thing. Like, I didn't think it could happen to me.
For Dennis and Leanne Boyatzis, hearing their daughter had cancer was devastating.
It's so hard to explain to people unless you're in this situation how hard it is to watch any family member, more or less your child, go through treatments for cancer.
Then suddenly another bombshell. Less than 24 hours later, Leanne's sister Lisa and her husband Jeff found out their daughter, Marisa's cousin Katie, also had cancer. Katie was diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma.
At first, I was just so overwhelmed with not only my child being sick, but struggling to comprehend that my niece was also sick.
This was the best friends prior to their diagnosis. They underwent chemotherapy and radiation together.
We both knew, so we can talk about the experiences we were going through, and she understood and I understood.
It's kind of good because our hair fell out at the same time and all that kind of stuff. And, like, I knew somebody who was going through the same thing, so I could talk to her about it.
Both families found a kindred spirit in Gary Mervis, the founder of Camp Good Days and Special Times. Mervis understood their fears. He lost his own daughter, Teddy, to cancer in 1979. In 2010, Mervis started Cancer Mission 2020 to end the suffering once and for all.
We should do better with this disease that takes so many of our loved ones.
Cancer Mission 2020 aims to show people the devastating toll of cancer, call them to action, and create accountability in the field of research to accelerate the path to a cure. Every day, 1,500 Americans die from cancer.
That's like one of the Twin Towers is falling every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and that's cancer in the United States.
As Mervis strives toward his goal of ending cancer, the Boyatzis and Fosters have helped each other through the bad days and celebrated the good.
This is a great cause for us. This is a great cause for the world.
Science is just amazing, and they've come so far. I don't think we're far away. I really don't.
Marisa has been cancer-free for a year. Katie's recovery has been longer, but her cancer is in remission. Both have suffered, and both want people to embrace Cancer Mission 2020.
That's a good idea to strive for, so many people don't have to go through what I went through.
I didn't think it would affect me, and I think they should just take a moment and try to be a part of it, because any second it could just affect you, and you don't know what's going to happen.
In Rochester, Mark Gruba, News 8.